Am I the a-hole for refusing responsibility of my autistic brother after my parents die? I, 19F, have a younger brother, 17M. We are both autistic, but this post will mainly be about his experiences. Over the years, due to our respective autism traits and just overall diagnoses being incredibly different from one another, our parents adapted different parenting styles for both of us in order to better suit our individual needs. But now that I'm older, looking back, it seems this was rooted in not only favoritism towards my brother, but also sexism because he was a boy and at the time, and even still, there wasn't a lot known about autism in females. Keep in mind there is a 3-year gap between my diagnosis and his, and during those 3 years is when autism started to become a lot more prevalent and openly talked about more for boys, not girls. My brother's autistic traits in his early years were a lot more socially acceptable at this time. Limited interests in things like animals and cars, sensitivity to noise, lights, and textures that people were more than happy to accommodate for. Again, I truly believe this was just an extension of double standards with boys and girls as a whole. When I would become visibly overstimulated in places, my parents would say, "She's just being dramatic," but made all their friends and family accommodate for his sensory needs. Due to his autism being easier to cope with in early childhood, my parents never felt the need to set any boundaries with him. He was almost never punished, even when he acted out at school. In a sense, my parents were incredibly permissive with him, and to him at a young age, they basically taught him, without ever directly saying, that because he's autistic, he can get away with quite literally anything. This continued all through middle and high school, where he was babied by almost every teacher, para, admin, etc., even as his behavior became increasingly more challenging as he got bigger and stronger than my parents and other adults. If a teacher even mentioned penalizing my brother, my parents would raise hell with the administration. However, when I had a teacher say in front of me, "She'll likely drop out of high school one day," my parents didn't believe me. Again, as much as I hate to point to this, I still think much of this favoritism comes from him being a boy. Not to mention, my mother made my brother the poster child for autism awareness in our community and had held that image together up until he got to middle school, but never told a soul outside our immediate family and friends that I was autistic. Even though I felt neglected at times, I was somehow able to rise above the negativity that plagued my childhood. When I got to high school, I graduated with honors. Fast forward a year later, I'm attending a prestigious university in my home state, a few hours from my hometown, pursuing a career in business administration. My brother, now 17, is going into his senior year, and needless to say, I'm terrified for his future. I was always encouraged to look out for him, but now I'm being told, when I ask about what his plans for the future are, that he tells me a different thing depending on the day. Which is fine, he's 17, he doesn't have to have it all figured out. I sure don't. However, when I ask my parents anything regarding what they want me to do if he's still under their care when they die or become unfit to care for him, they simply tell me, "We'll figure something out," but never say what something is. He's a smart kid, entitled but smart, and has a lot of potential to do something great. If my parents didn't shelter him from the outside world so much, give him unrestricted internet access, and just overall raise him the way they did, we'd be in a very different situation. As his older sister, I feel a sense of obligation to make sure he's okay. But at the same time, I have no desire to let him live under my wing rent-free. My parents chose to have him. This is their doing. They need to figure it out. I just hope he's okay in the end. I only want the best for him, but I don't know what that is. I just hope that before my parents die, I do. Edit/update, I don't know. I would like to point out that my parents have never directly told me it's my responsibility to care for him in the event of their death or old age, and have actually told me it's not my responsibility to care for him. But that doesn't mean to wash my hands of being his older sister completely, so I'm more just confused by how they put it. It's the same every time I ask.